Avoid jail for offenders sentenced to less than a year, judges are told. Push for non-custodial sentences amongst emergency measures to reduce the prison population. I didn't realise that these emergency measures are being considered because the prison population is set to exceed the capacity of prisons in England and Wales within days. Fewer than 600 spaces left in the overall prison estate, and less than 150 in men's prison. Whoa, running out of room.
Well, running out of room, and the horse has bolted, as the great antiquarian Ray Hepner used to say, as I understand it. My, how the tables have turned! Because the background is, Trisha, that this short sentence idea for non-violent offenders, it's been kicked around by politicians in cabinet for years and years, at least the last 6 or 7 years. It's been on the table, it's been announced, it's been abandoned, it's been announced. Kenneth Clarke did it. It basically cost him the Justice Minister's job. Rory Stewart, who you heard me talk about before, who I think a lot of us think is great, even though he didn't really do it in politics. He tried the same, advocated for it as prison minister. Those people could see what was happening in prisons, and that it was not only unsustainable, Trisha, but basically indulgently cruel. Because when you give somebody a short prison sentence, especially for a non-violent offence, so you're not talking about the protection of the public from violent people, for example. I mean, I have to say, even as a liberal and progressive and all of that, there will always be a case for keeping violent people away from the public. But when you send somebody away for a relatively minor offence, they lose their job, they lose their accommodation, they might even lose their children, their
pets, their children,
their lives fall apart, and it guarantees. Not only do you lose a taxpayer, if you're going to look at it cynically, but it guarantees reoffending. And I think that the figure that's now being bandied around by a government that's not been bloody interested in this for years is that 30,000 offences a year are likely to be cut as a result. Yes, we know that because you've been telling us that each time.
I was going to say, but here's the thing. Never mind, don't get me started on the number of people who are in remand waiting for there's a backlog of some 60,000 odd people waiting for their cases to be heard, many of whom will be innocent, might be banged up for 4 years. So I don't know what they're going to do with them. But here's the thing. Politically, they're now saying, we're going to have to do early releases and non-custodial sentences. Finally, as you say, it's come back round again. But politically, all of the parties are trying to show that they are the tough guys who go, lock them up. I mean, everybody, the scream is if everybody drops a flipping chewing gum wrapper, lock them up. So this is going to be an interesting one for politicians, isn't it? You can't lock them up. We're going to have to open the gates.
If they don't do now, Trisha, what they've said they've been doing for years, and each time bottled it once the tabloids got a hold of it and thought, we don't want to be seen as being soft on crime, quick, can that progressive policy? If they don't do it now with the shoplifters and the pickpockets in Westminster Magistrates Court in the centre of London, where you're more likely to go to prison for a first-time offence than anywhere in the country, principally because the courts there want a message sent to the pickpockets that affect the tourist industry in London, believe it or not, But if you don't deal with those people differently right now, the chances of actually not being able to send to prison people who rape strangers at night rocket. Because and once we have that, there's already talk about people getting bailed and sentences getting delayed on serious offences, so that the government can sort out some prison places. This is really mad. I mean, the government's finally swallowed the pill way too late. We're going to see much more on this story and things around it. If you think about it, it's a variation of the story that we were covering a few weeks ago to do with prison overcrowding anyway. People have been banging on about it for ages. It's like somebody just woken up and smelled the coffee.